What if the exercise you have been avoiding your entire life, the one that feels almost too simple to matter, turns out to be the single most powerful thing you can do for your body after age 60? Most people over 60 are spending hours doing the wrong workouts. They are pushing through painful jogs, grinding out sit-ups, or skipping exercise altogether because they are afraid of getting hurt. And here is the shocking part. All of that effort may be doing very little to protect what matters most: your muscle, your balance, your blood sugar, and your independence. The exercise I am talking about today is walking, but not just any walking, a very specific kind of walking that most doctors never explain in detail. And the difference is enormous. When you discover exactly how to use walking to lower your blood sugar, rebuild muscle, protect your knees, improve your heart, and reduce your risk of falling, everything changes. This is not about running marathons. This is not about buying expensive equipment or joining a gym. This is about one simple movement that your body was designed to do, and that becomes even more powerful after the age of 60 when you understand the science behind it. Stay until the end because what comes next could change everything. If you want simple health tips like this every week, subscribe and turn on notifications. It only takes 2 seconds. Now let me explain what is actually happening inside your body after 60, because once you understand this, you will never look at a simple walk the same way again. Starting around the age of 30, the human body begins losing muscle mass at a rate of about 3 to 5% every decade. But after age 60, that process accelerates dramatically. Scientists call this sarcopenia, which simply means the gradual shrinking of your muscles as you age. Less muscle means a slower metabolism, which means your body burns fewer calories at rest. It means weaker legs, which increases your risk of falling. It means less stability around your joints, which makes everyday activities like climbing stairs or getting up from a chair more difficult and more painful over time. At the same time, your body's ability to manage blood sugar begins to decline. Your cells become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that acts like a key, unlocking your cells so that glucose, which is the sugar from your food, can enter and be used as fuel. When that key stops working properly, sugar builds up in your bloodstream instead. This is how prediabetes and type 2 diabetes develop in millions of adults over 60. And here is what no one tells you: regular walking, done consistently and with the right approach, directly improves your insulin sensitivity. It is like oiling a rusty lock. Every time your muscles contract during a walk, they pull glucose out of your bloodstream on their own without needing insulin at all. This is an extraordinary biological function that most people have never been told about. Walking also strengthens the heart muscle, improves circulation, reduces blood pressure, and lowers inflammation throughout the body. Research published in major journals, including the British Journal of Sports Medicine and Diabetes Care, has shown that even short bouts of walking after meals can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 30% compared to sitting. For your balance, walking trains the dozens of small stabilizer muscles in your ankles, feet, and core that keep you upright. These are the muscles that prevent falls. And for your mood and mental health, walking triggers the release of endorphins and improves blood flow to the brain, which reduces anxiety and supports sharper thinking as you age. The reason walking is so powerful for people over 60 specifically is that it is low impact, meaning it does not hammer your joints the way running does, but it is still weight-bearing, which means your bones and muscles are working against gravity. That weight-bearing quality is exactly what keeps your bones strong and slows the natural bone density loss that comes with aging. Walking is, in almost every measurable way, one of the most complete forms of medicine available to human beings. And it is free. Let me tell you about Margaret. Margaret is 67 years old, a retired schoolteacher from a small town in Ohio, and for the past 11 years, she had been living with type 2 diabetes and chronic knee pain that made every morning feel like a battle just to get out of bed. She had tried water aerobics, which helped a little. She had tried seated exercises from a DVD she ordered online, but nothing seemed to budge her A1C, her 3-month blood sugar average, which had been stuck at 8.1 for 2 years despite taking her metformin every single day. Her fasting glucose was consistently around 160 milligrams per deciliter, well above the healthy range of under 100, and her energy was so low that she often napped twice a day just to function. Margaret was terrified, not just of her numbers, but of what they meant. She watched her older sister lose feeling in her feet. She saw her neighbor use a walker at 72 after a fall. Every morning she woke up wondering if today was the day her body would stop cooperating altogether. She had convinced herself that her knees were too damaged for meaningful exercise and that at her age, the damage was simply done. She told me once with tears in her eyes that she was just waiting to get worse. The change I recommended was simple. I asked Margaret to start walking for just 10 minutes after each of her 3 main meals. Not power walking, not speed walking, just a gentle, comfortable pace around her neighborhood or even through her living room if the weather was bad. I told her to focus on consistency, not distance. Within 3 weeks, she told me her energy in the afternoons had improved noticeably. At her 6-week check-in, her fasting glucose had dropped from 160 to 131. By her 3-month appointment, her A1C had fallen from 8.1 to 7.2, a remarkable improvement that we typically see from adding a second medication achieved through walking alone. She had also lost 9 pounds without changing her diet significantly, and her knee pain had actually decreased because the walking was strengthening the muscles around her joints. Margaret told me, "I thought my body had given up on me. I didn't realize it was just waiting for me to give it a reason to fight back." But the story does not end there, because I know many of you may be thinking, what if walking is hard on my joints? What if my knees cannot handle it? What if I have heart disease or high blood pressure? These are real concerns, and they deserve a real answer. The biggest myth I encounter in patients over 60 is the belief that their body is too fragile for exercise. I understand where that fear comes from. You have felt pain. You have been told to rest. Maybe a doctor once told you to take it easy, and you never quite shook that instruction. But here is what the research is now telling us very clearly. Physical inactivity is one of the most dangerous conditions a person over 60 can have. Sitting for long periods raises blood sugar, weakens the heart, shrinks muscle tissue, reduces bone density, and dramatically increases the risk of falls and early death. Gentle movement, done consistently, is protective for nearly every chronic condition that affects older adults. A landmark study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that regular moderate walking reduced the risk of cardiovascular events, meaning heart attacks and strokes, by nearly 35% in adults over 60. Research from the journal Diabetologia confirmed that walking after meals is more effective at controlling blood sugar than a single longer walk at another time of day. Studies on joint health have consistently shown that gentle walking actually lubricates the cartilage in your knees by encouraging the flow of synovial fluid, the natural cushioning your joints depend on. Many patients with moderate knee arthritis experience less pain after building a regular walking habit, not more. And a study from the British Journal of General Practice showed that adults over 65 who walked regularly had a 34% lower risk of cognitive decline compared to those who were sedentary. The message here is this: it is not too late. Researchers have confirmed that even people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can build meaningful muscle, improve balance, lower blood sugar, and strengthen their heart with consistent, appropriate exercise. Your biology has not given up. The question is whether you are ready to give it the right signal. So let me walk you through exactly how to do this properly, because doing it right matters. The goal is 3 short walks per day, taken after your main meals. Each walk should last between 10 and 15 minutes at a pace that feels comfortable. you should be able to hold a conversation without gasping for breath. This is what researchers call moderate intensity walking, and it is the sweet spot for blood sugar control and cardiovascular benefit in older adults. Before you start, spend 2 to 3 minutes doing gentle ankle circles, knee lifts, and shoulder rolls to wake up your joints and increase blood flow. Wear supportive shoes with cushioned soles, not sandals or slippers, because proper footwear reduces the impact on your knees, hips, and lower back. If you use a cane or walking aid, use it. There is no prize for suffering through a walk without support, and using your aid correctly actually allows you to move with more confidence and less risk. During your walk, keep your back straight, your shoulders relaxed, and your gaze forward rather than down at the ground. Let your arms swing naturally at your sides. Take smooth, medium-length steps rather than very short shuffling steps, which can actually increase your fall risk. If you are indoors, walking the length of a hallway and back counts. If you have a yard, a few loops around the garden is perfect. If the weather is extreme, a shopping mall or even a large grocery store works beautifully. The timing matters enormously. Starting your walk within 30 minutes of finishing a meal is when you will get the greatest blood sugar benefit, because your glucose levels are rising after eating and your muscles will absorb that glucose directly during movement. This is the mechanism that can drop your post-meal blood sugar spike by 20 to 30%, a result that rivals many oral medications. As for frequency, aim for 5 to 7 days per week. Consistency is everything here. 3 short walks on Monday is worth more for your health than a long, exhausting hike on Saturday. Common mistakes include walking too fast in the beginning and paying for it the next day with soreness or knee pain, which then derails the habit. Start gentle. You can always build from there. A good 4-week progression looks like this. Week 1, 10 minutes per walk, 3 times a day. Week 2, increase to 12 minutes. Week 3, add a slight incline if possible, even just a gentle ramp or a small hill. Week 4, try to extend one of your daily walks to 20 minutes if your body feels ready. After your walk, do 3 to 5 minutes of gentle stretching, a seated hamstring stretch, a standing calf stretch against the wall, and slow neck rolls. This reduces muscle soreness and improves flexibility over time. Pair your walking with adequate hydration. Drink a glass of water before each walk and one after. And if you can, eat a small amount of protein with your meals, such as eggs, fish, Greek yogurt, or legumes, because protein supports the muscle you are building with every walk you take. Tell me in the comments how often you currently exercise. I read every single comment, and your story might help someone else take their first step today. Now I want to tell you about Raymond. Raymond is 73 years old, a retired electrician from Texas who had been living with prediabetes for 6 years and high blood pressure for nearly a decade. Unlike Margaret, Raymond was not afraid of exercise. He was doing it wrong. He had been walking every morning for 45 minutes at a fast clip, proud of his discipline. But his A1C had barely moved from 6.8, his blood pressure was still elevated, and he was gaining weight slowly despite his daily effort. He could not understand why nothing was working. What happened next surprised even me when I reviewed his patterns carefully. Raymond was doing his single long walk at 6 in the morning, well before breakfast. He was technically moving, but he was missing the post-meal window entirely, the period when walking produces the greatest metabolic benefit for blood sugar. He was also so fatigued after his intense morning session that he sat almost completely still for the remaining 16 hours of the day. He was, in metabolic terms, active for 1 hour and sedentary for the rest. The adjustment was small but powerful. I asked Raymond to keep one morning walk but reduce it to 25 minutes at a more moderate pace. Then I asked him to add 2 short 10-minute walks after lunch and dinner. Within 8 weeks, his fasting glucose had dropped from 118 to 104. His blood pressure readings improved from an average of 138/86 to 126/79. He lost 6 pounds in 2 months without dieting. And for the first time in years, his afternoon energy was strong enough that he started woodworking again in his garage. something he had given up because he simply felt too tired. Raymond put it simply, I was doing a lot, but I wasn't doing the right thing at the right time. Now let me show you what an ideal day looks like when you build your life around this simple but powerful habit. When you wake up in the morning, before anything else, spend 5 minutes stretching gently in bed or at the edge of the mattress. Bring your knees to your chest one at a time, roll your ankles in slow circles, and take 3 deep breaths. This wakes up your nervous system and signals to your body that it is time to move. Then have a light breakfast that includes protein, something like 2 eggs with vegetables or Greek yogurt with a handful of berries. Within 30 minutes of finishing breakfast, take your first 10 to 15-minute walk. If you feel stiff in the morning, that is completely normal. The first few minutes may feel harder than the rest. Keep going gently, and most people find that the stiffness fades within 3 to 5 minutes of movement as warm blood reaches the joints and muscles. If your knees bother you, try walking on grass or a soft surface rather than pavement, which absorbs more impact. If you need more support, a single walking pole or trekking stick can reduce the load on your knees by up to 25%. Around midday, have a balanced lunch, lean protein, vegetables, and a moderate portion of complex carbohydrates like brown rice, sweet potato, or whole grain bread. Take your second walk within 30 minutes. This is often the easiest walk of the day because your energy is usually highest in the late morning and early afternoon. In the late afternoon, if possible, spend 10 minutes doing gentle resistance movements, chair squats where you slowly lower yourself toward a chair and rise again, wall push-ups, or resistance band exercises for your arms. These complement your walking by building the upper body and leg strength that protects you from falls. Dinner should be your lightest meal. Again, protein and vegetables as the foundation. And your third walk after dinner is, in many ways, the most important one, because blood sugar tends to rise most significantly after the evening meal when activity levels naturally decrease. That third walk is your most powerful blood sugar tool of the entire day. End your evening with a warm shower or bath, which relaxes your muscles and improves sleep quality, and aim for 7 to 8 hours of rest because sleep deprivation raises cortisol and blood sugar the following morning. Before I close, I want to speak to those of you who are managing this with medications, because this matters deeply. If you take metformin for blood sugar control, regular walking makes it work better. The two together are more powerful than either alone. However, if you take insulin or sulfonylurea medications, which are a class of drugs that lower blood sugar directly, exercise can sometimes cause your blood sugar to drop too low during or after a walk. This is called hypoglycemia, and the symptoms include dizziness, shakiness, sweating, and confusion. If you experience any of these during a walk, stop, sit down, and consume a fast-acting carbohydrate like 4 glucose tablets, 4 ounces of juice, or a few pieces of hard candy. Always carry something with you. If you take blood pressure medications, particularly beta blockers, your heart rate may not rise as much during exercise, so use your perceived effort level rather than heart rate to judge your intensity. Talk to your personal doctor before starting a new exercise program, not because walking is dangerous, but because your doctor needs to know what you are doing so they can monitor your numbers and potentially adjust your medications as your health improves. This is not dangerous for most people, but your doctor needs to know. Here is the most important thing I want you to take away from everything we have discussed today. The greatest threat to your health after 60 is not aging itself. It is stillness. Your body is not broken. It is not past its prime. It has not given up on you. It is waiting for the right movement at the right time, done with consistency and care to respond. Margaret's A1C dropped nearly a full point from walking after meals. Raymond's blood pressure normalized. Thousands of patients just like them have rebuilt their strength, their confidence, and their independence simply by making walking, intentional, timed, consistent walking, the foundation of their daily life. Margaret said it best. I thought my body had given up on me. I didn't realize it was just waiting for me to give it a reason to fight back. That quote stays with me because it is true for nearly every patient I have ever seen. No matter how long you have been sitting, no matter how many years your blood sugar has been high, no matter how stiff or weak or discouraged you feel right now, your body can still respond. The research confirms it. The patient stories prove it. And the only thing standing between where you are today and where you could be in 12 weeks is 10 minutes after your next meal. Your body is ready to respond. It just needed the right information. If this video helped you, please subscribe so you never miss a new health tip designed specifically for adults over 60. Hit the like button, share this with someone you love who might need to hear it, and leave a comment below telling me one change you are going to make starting today. I will see you in the next one. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. Always consult your personal doctor before making any changes to your exercise routine, diet, medication, or treatment plan.